Welcome back to another episode of the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Meacham, former UC basketball player from 1997 to 1999 under the legendary coach, my man, Bob Huggins. And I was fortunate enough to wear the iconic Jordan brand unis during my time. The Bearcat Basketball Podcast is now presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at 8CMG, and thank you for the support. Now, you can follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Alex_Meacham. Meacham spelled M-E-A-C-H-A-M. Now, we are live at Mio's in Clifton. And if everybody give a round of applause to the owners, Rich and Kelly, for all their hospitality here. Show some love. Rich is in the house. He's a little sad right now from the Bengals game. That's all right. If we can give a round of applause to our support staff, Colin Cruzy and Stu Holt, for making all this happen sound-wise. So show some love. Now, just a couple housekeeping details. We are live before every home game, basketball home game, 2 hours before tip-off, so you can always come in, get some pizza, have some drinks, and then head over to the game. The following podcast that we have done here live thus far, we interviewed former Bearcat great Keith Greger, Deontay Vaughn, number 4 all-time leading scorer, walk-on legend Zach Tobler, and definitely one of our Bearcat legends, Corey Blunt. Now, you can find the Bearcat Basketball Podcast on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and our YouTube channel, Shine One Media. Now, next podcast that we will do live, we're considering doing another podcast prior to the shootout. The Crosstown Shootout is next Saturday, so we're thinking about doing a special shootout podcast during the week. So we're looking into that. We'll get more information out on that. December 14th versus Florida A&M, we will be back here live with another podcast, and we will announce our special guest at a later time. This segment is sponsored by the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. They have a new flexible bachelor's degree that will allow you to graduate conveniently and affordably. You will not lose any credit or have to start over. Bearcat fans, I'm excited to welcome in this next Bearcat great. He played for the Bearcats from 1994 to 1996 under the legendary coach Bob Huggins. Played in the NBA and also overseas from 1996 to 2010. The 6'9" power forward from Rochester, New York. I'd like to welcome in, everybody help me welcome in, 00 Art Long. Give him a round of applause. Big Art, what's up, man?
What's up, Alex? How's it going?
Hey, you guys hear that voice? He's got the better voice than I do for the podcast. Tell everybody what you're up to these days, where you're living.
I just currently moved back to Cincinnati about a year ago. Just working day to day. Got a regular 9 to 5 working. Just taking care of my business and staying relevant.
Good. Now, the Bengals just lost. You were a Giants fan? Because you're from New York, right? You're a Giants fan? How'd your Giants do today?
Giants were being the Giants today. We lost. We actually lost. We lost too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of football, Art, have you had a chance to really follow the Bearcats football program and what they're doing right now, the amazing things?
Yeah, I've been, going through it with people about them all year long, especially as of right now because, with the championship thing, the way the bracket goes.
Yeah.
I've definitely been kind of familiar. I'm not familiar with each player but the team-wise, yeah.
So when you played, much like when I played, the football team wasn't as popular as the basketball team. And I remember when we would go to the football games as a basketball team, there wasn't anybody there. And I always tell the story, Art. One time after practice, we went over to the football game, and Kenyon Martin literally laid out on the bleachers because there was nobody there. What was the football program like when you were there?
It's pretty much the same thing. It was up and coming, it wasn't many fans, football fans back then. It was pretty much basketball, but you know, like I said, they've made a change, you know, with a few coaches and, you know, getting some recruits. And as of right now, things are looking pretty good. I mean, what is it, 13 and 0?
13 and 0.
13 and 0, yeah.
Looking very good. But before we transition into some other topics, I do want to give, for the Bearcat fans out there that don't know, I'd like for everybody to make sure you keep former Bearcat great Herb Jones in your thoughts and prayers right now. Make sure you please keep Herb Jones in your thoughts and prayers. So one thing I want to talk about, I want to get into for the Bearcat fans that don't know, Art, is how you became a Bearcat. What led you to Cincinnati, coming all the way from New York, and you made some JUCO stops, correct? And you ended up playing for the Bearcats. Well, tell everybody how you ended up being a Bearcat.
Well, coming out of high school, I was Prop 48, so I had to choose junior college by way of Forest University.
Right.
And I actually, like you said, I attended a couple schools, couple different junior colleges, and my first one, my first one where I played basketball at Dodge City is where I met Coach Harrison. Coach Harrison was assistant coach for Coach Bob Huggins then. I think he's coaching with assistant coach for him now too.
Yeah, Larry Harrison's assistant coach at West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Correct.
And that's where I met Coach Harrison, and that's where we began our relationship.
So, what other schools were recruiting you, and what was your final decision? I need to be a Bearcat.
Oh, man, well, coming out of junior college, coming out of high school, I was highly recruited. By the time I left junior college, I had a decision on playing in college or going to the next level, and that's where I kind of got myself in some trouble, you know, talking to agents and stuff like that. But you know, there were schools, universities throughout the country recruiting me.
So what made you decide on being a Bearcat?
Well, like I said, me and Coach Harrison, we built a relationship in Dodge City, Kansas, and I actually was supposed to come to University of Cincinnati after I left Dodge City, Kansas, but because some things happened, I was unfortunate. I ended up going to another school, another junior college for another year, and played basketball, and like I said, got highly recruited and even had the option on going on to the next level. But even through, you know, the downs, Coach Harrison and University of Cincinnati stuck by my side. So, you know, I kept close contact with him, and you know, Coach Huggins, when I came on my visit, it was Nick and Corey who took me out and hung out, and you know, I kind of got a feel for those guys, and you know, and they explained to me that how Coach was, and you know, like I said, had met Coach, so
they told you he was crazy.
Yeah, he was crazy as man, but you know, he was a good guy, and you know, made me feel good, made me feel like he really wanted the same things I wanted, as far as me to be a better basketball player, just be a better person, period, you know. And you know, that's why I chose to come here, because of Coach Huggins and his coaching staff. Yeah.
So I want to go right into your playing days, starting in 1994, and we're live at Mio's in Clifton with Bearcat great Art Long. So going into your playing days, tell everybody what type of game you had in high school, how many points you averaged in high school, and then going into, we're going to dive into some of your stats playing for the Bearcats, but were you a different player in high school than you were in college?
First of all, Alex, you need to stop saying 94, 96. You're going to tell these people how old I am.
My bad.
No, it's all right. But yeah, I was totally different player in high school and junior college before I came to the University of Cincinnati. In high school, I posted up. You know, I was on a mid-range, mid-paint player, but in junior college, I was able to, you know, spread the ball around, move around, face the basket, and stuff like that. You know, Coach Huggins saw different and wanted me to do different. So, you know, when I came here, you know, not only did, you know, I felt like he made me play my back to the basket, but there was reasons for that because, you know, we worked out, and I actually, when I came to UC, I think I was 215. By the time the season started, I was 235.
Wow. Were you Mickey Marotti?
I was just about to say thanks to Mick. Thanks to Mick.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. And I mean, I felt comfortable. I mean, that's what I wanted to do. I mean, especially after it, I felt it was easier than facing the basket, you know. And it's just that sometimes I would get caught in between and being indecisive, and that was my problem, I think, in college, because in high school, I averaged about maybe about 15, 16, 17 points. And I think in my junior college is a little bit more than that. But it was a consistent double-double every night.
Yeah.
You know, 10 and 10, you know, rebounds and stuff. But I think that was the biggest thing. Besides, you know, that, I would, you know, average, you know, 3 or 4 blocks. And that was another key to my game, that not only was you give a double-double, but, you know, you get 2 or 3 blocks.
Yeah.
You know, I think I had a record here for a minute. I think I never looked into it. You gotta do that for me one day. But Corey Blunt had the block shot record here.
Corey Blunt had the shot block record?
Something like that, or something. And I thought I broke his shot, his record. And in Kenyon 4th year, he broke mine.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I believe that.
I don't know how it goes. You know me, I just don't keep up with that stuff. But I heard that before.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned some guys. Can you tell the Bearcat fans who were some of the guys that you played with on your team that first year?
First year, obviously Damon Flint. Right here from Cincinnati. Point guard, great guy, funny.
Yeah.
Flint character. Keith Legree.
Yep.
Keith Greger, Donnell Burton, Lizelle Durton. Oh, Lizelle. Somebody asked me about Lizelle the other day. Have you speak to Lizelle?
Yes, I did. He's in Toledo. He's going to come and do one of these.
Yeah, you let me know.
Later in the year. Yeah, I'll get you his number.
Yeah, Lizelle was a senior when I came in.
Okay, so
I only played 1 year with Lizelle.
Okay.
Yeah, and they talk about Steph Curry.
Oh, man.
I used to watch Lizelle shoot from half court on a regular to win games.
Man.
Like teams would set up their defense, and we would just give Lizelle the ball to bring the ball up, and he'll just get his right over half court and let it go. Teams think he's going to come to the three-point line. They stand at back, you know.
Right.
And Lizelle just walk up and shoot.
Fired up.
Yeah, it was the easiest thing, you know. With Lizelle Durton and Donnell Burton, my 2 years there in Cincinnati.
Hey.
Those are two best shooters I've been around. I played with.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, and I do want to talk about Lizelle a little bit more in a minute, but I want to talk about your adjustment from coaches you had prior to Cincinnati and then playing for Bob Huggins. What type of personal adjustments did you have to make?
And that goes back to the question you just asked me, why I chose University of Cincinnati, because God bless my high school coach, Sal Rizzo.
What was his name?
Sal Rizzo.
Okay.
Sal Rizzo and Coach Huggins are similar. They're both perfectionists. They both want the best out of you, even though Coach, he shows you in a tough way, he shows you. A lot of people won't show you if they don't care, but Coach, he shows you, and that's how he gets the best out of you, And my high school coach was similar to him. My junior college coaches, and they were a little bit more lenient because I guess we were a little bit more older there, I guess, adult-wise, young adults, but they were pretty much the same.
Yeah. So I usually ask a lot of guys this. During your career with the Bearcats, playing for Hugs, how many times did you want to quit?
Every day.
Everybody says the same.
Every day. It's always something different with Coach. I mean, I always tell the same story. I remember we was playing Canisius, I think, in a Christmas tournament. Maybe it might have been a Thanksgiving tournament. And we were beating Canisius by 20 in the first half, I think, and ended up losing by 20. And after the game, we sat in the locker room and Coach screamed and, just tore us a new, just tore our heads off, like. And we thought it was over. He walked out, and everybody started getting undressed, getting ready to go. He came back in and was like, no, you guys have put your practice gear on. It's dry. So we sitting there wondering what's going on. We sat there for a minute. Guys was wondering what was going on. So he sent the ball guy in. I think his name was Joe Roberts. Remember
Joe Roberts, absolutely.
My guy. Is Joe still around?
He's the athletic director at Princeton High School here in Cincinnati.
That's good.
Yep.
But he sent Joe in and told us we all had to come back out in the gym, and we had 1 minute to be out there in our practice uniform. So we like, man, we about to practice.
Yep.
We went out there in our practice uniforms. He made his speech, and then he made us run to the stadium, made us run the stairs. Right after the game, it was a 12 o'clock afternoon game on ABC. And the reason he made us run is because if you remember the club Primetime.
Yeah, Primetime used to be right over there.
Yeah, we went out the night before.
He found out?
Yeah, he found out when we lost. So, you guys want to party, you got enough energy after practice to go hang out. So he figured he'd take all the energy out of us. And I don't think nobody went out for that the rest of that week.
I bet not.
Yeah, and cause it was crazy because that's where you even got guys like Damon Flint becoming believers. Where I think we ranked 4th in the nation after that week, something like that. So it was like Damon's like, man, this dude know magic.
Yeah.
So it's different.
So did you see there was a clip on ESPN this week where a coach during the game, college coach, made his team run sprints? Did you see this?
No.
So I'm not sure what team it was. It was like, Arkansas Pine Bluff is playing somebody. The coach is upset, and during it, he calls a timeout, and he says, get on the line. And the team ran sprints during the game, during the timeout. I have flashbacks.
Is that legal?
I don't know, but
is that legal?
He did it.
That's like the team. That's like if I'm coaching, I can call a timeout because I don't feel that my team's ready to play.
Yeah.
And I can get them on the line and get their adrenaline running, make them run a couple of suicides, and then they get out there and play. Now my team's ready to go. While your team's sitting over there like.
I don't know. It was. I think it was
legal?
It was towards the end of the game. But it was all over. So I have to show you the video clip when I get a sec. But now, during that '94 season, and this is your first year, you guys had some big-time games. So, for example, you guys played North Carolina, who at the time is number 2 in the country, and lose 86-76. You go on to beat Minnesota, who was number 11 at the time, in overtime, 91-88. But the game that I know for me and a lot of Bearcat fans that no one will ever forget, and I want you to talk about this game, was the game at Wyoming.
Oh.
When Zell...
That was one of the games hit that half-court shot.
When Lizelle was Lizelle.
Theo Ratliff. I remember that game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we went up there a couple of days early because of the...
Getting used to the altitude?
The altitude. And it was rough. And, during practice and for those couple of days, we thought we were ready for it. And, we all know now, but, practice is different from games, because of your adrenaline. But
right.
It came game time, and it was a good game. We thought we really could, beat Wyoming convincingly, but it was a dogfight. They had Theo Ratliff, who went on to play in the NBA.
Yep.
I think he was a first-round pick. And they had a couple guards. I can't really remember their guards, who they were, but I think we went into overtime. I think we went into one overtime.
The Wyoming? I thought it was. I think it was in regulation.
Was it regulation?
Yeah, it was regulation that Zell got fouled, and then he made the
free throws.
The free throws.
Was it 3 of them?
It was 3 of them, and he was shushing the crowd as he was making the free throws.
Right, that's right. And I was like, I remember that. I couldn't remember. I thought he hit a 3, but that must have been the game. He got fouled. He hit the 3 free throws. And it was due to that. It was just the altitude. It was, man, everybody was complaining, drinking.
Tough to breathe.
Yeah, it was tough. And we thought, because we practiced up there a couple of days after practice, we weren't feeling it as much, and we thought we were ready to go in there and really just walk through them. It was a dogfight, and coach was on us. I mean, you know how coach is. If you miss a box out, you come out the game.
You're out. You're out.
Yeah, you can miss a guy. You can have the ball, make a shot, and miss a guy for a layup, and coach will take you out.
Right, no question.
That's how Coach Huggins is, man.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So you had some other big games that year. You guys played Cal, who was number 24 at the time, and lost that game. Played Georgia Tech, who was number 17, won that game.
Yeah.
Played Arkansas, number 3.
In Hawaii.
And lost, yep. I mean, those are some, that out-of-conference schedule is crazy, the amount of, top-ranked teams you're playing. I mean, for you, being a guy that comes in his first year, to play that type of schedule, TV games against that high-level competition, man, how's that feel for you?
I mean, we didn't think much of it. I mean, at that point in time, that's what Coach wanted, to put the University of Cincinnati basketball on the map. You have to play the good teams. You bring in the type of players that you can compete with those type of teams, and that's the difference between then and now. You have to, like you said, you look at the schedules, and you wonder why the stadium isn't getting full. So you look at, they say, you look at UC football, you say the stadium's getting full because now they're in a different conference and they play a better competition. So that's how it was then. We didn't look at it as, something to be afraid of. Like you mentioned that we played all those teams. And that year, my final game, we lost to a team that was ranked, 1 in the nation, Ray Allen. What were they ranked, 3? 1, 2,
your last year, UConn was, 3? You talking about in the tournament?
Yeah, we lost to them in the tournament.
Yeah.
And we actually had a chance to beat them. Yeah, that game hurt. Like, when I look back on my career here at UC, it was like the things that you know now about the game and the things that, Coach Huggins tried to show us and was telling us. It was like, if we could have grasped it a little bit more, like, it would have had a greater opportunity. I mean, we still did, but, it's just, I don't know.
And then talking about, I'm glad you brought up that UConn game in the tournament that you guys lost. Ray Allen, Donnie Marshall, Travis Knight, Kevin Ollie, who ended up being the coach. We're all on the team.
Me and Kevin Ollie were good friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, he won a championship, right, as a coach at UConn, right?
Did he win? Yeah, like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that.
Yep.
Kevin Ollie.
So another game that I want to talk about, which is such a big game, and we're getting close to that, is the Crosstown Shootout. Your first year, you guys beat Xavier 87-80. Now, coming from New York in JUCO, coming to Cincinnati, you heard about the shootout. Like, people were telling you this is going to be a big game. Did you realize, like, how important that game was to Bearcat fans, the city, when you were here and actually playing in it?
I really didn't find out until my second year. When I came in, everybody talked about it, and you get hyped for it. We young, but we won. So, I didn't. It was like normal.
Right.
My second year, I think we lost. And then it's just like everybody looking at you. Campus was quiet.
Yeah. Right.
I was like, what's going on with everybody?
Yeah.
So I really felt the second year more than so the first year because, like I said, just the atmosphere, the attitude on campus was just different the next day, and it was, for a couple of days, everybody was really bad about that.
Right.
I felt that's what it was, it's that people take that game like serious, I mean, like I said, the first year we won, when we played in Xavier Gym, when it felt like a high school environment because that gym is so small.
Yeah, right.
Now, I don't know how they call that a university with such a small gym.
Yeah. and so the Bearcats tonight play Bryant, which they're hoping to.
Who?
Bryant.
Oh, Bryant?
Bryant is the name of the school.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't. So
Yeah,
hopefully they get the momentum and develop. They've been struggling offensively a little bit, Art, and they played Miami Oxford last week, and then a week before they lost to Monmouth. So they've got to get some things together tonight because after the game tonight, they have a little bit of time off, and then they play Xavier. So they need to be ready, for Xavier and getting back focused. But I do want to jump into your last year. I want to talk about your senior season. This segment is sponsored by the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Cincinnati. They have a new flexible bachelor's degree that will allow you to graduate conveniently and affordably, and you won't lose any credit or have to start over. So your senior year, looking at 1995, going into that, and all right, we got to talk about it. You remember James White, who played for the Bearcats and in the NBA and Flight White. When I put out on social media that you were going to be our guest and you were coming on, James hit me up. And he was like, man, if you don't ask him about the horse, man, he goes, I'm done with you. So a lot of people ask about that. And that happened in October of 1995, I believe.
It was October?
I think it was October 1995. And it was right?
Yeah, right here.
Right?
Right here.
Ironically.
Right outside.
Toby, as we discovered, was the horse's name.
It's Toby. They gave the guy a name. First his name was Toby, and then they gave him the name Mr. Ed because of the TV show.
Oh, Mr. Ed?
Yeah.
So what do you want to say about that? Danny was with you, right?
Yeah. Honestly, it was Danny's fault.
So on record, it was Danny's fault.
It was Danny's fault. Danny know that. Yeah, we were just riding by and ended up getting some tickets from I forget the officer's name, but he was on Mr. Ed, Toby, whatever. And after he gave us the tickets and told me to park the car, I went by to pet Toby.
Wait a minute, who was petting Toby?
I was.
You were.
I was attempting
to pet the horse.
Pet Toby. I did pet him a little rough, but I didn't punch him. I smacked him.
Yeah.
And when I petting him, while petting him, it just cuffed me. The next thing you know, they say I punched the horse. That was the funniest thing though, because after he handcuffed me right here, Danny had already walked up the street. Right, he's standing up here in this corner. So when Danny see me getting handcuffed, he goes ballistic and he just comes running down. Hey, what are you guys doing to my partner? And it's crazy. I'm like, Danny, chill out. They grab him, handcuff him. He's still going crazy. They hog tie him and pick him up.
Oh wow, and he's a big boy. So
yeah, they had about 6 or 7 guys pick him up.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was unbelievable because I didn't even know, but they had to have the fans were being held back, and it wasn't, the officer, I think, was a little embarrassed.
Yeah.
And we probably were, we had been drinking, so we probably were a little loud, and so we made our wrongs and our rights, so we worked it out.
And the thing about this, Art, that happened in 1995. If that happens in 2021, everybody's camera's out.
Yeah,
and it's all over social media.
Yeah, if you actually punch a horse, yes. It will be on social media. What's the name of that TV show? Where the guy knocked the horse out for real?
Oh. I don't know. The show
that got knocked the horse out.
The show or the? I don't know.
You never see what the dude punched the horse and posted it knocked out?
No.
I don't know it. Hey.
So When you're around town and you're back in Cincinnati and people know who you are, how much do you get asked about that?
I mean, people come up to me all the time and, you know, tell me I was a great player. And the guy the other day, I was at the casino with a friend, and we were actually leaving. And the guy said, "All right, what's up?" I said, "What's going on?" And he was like, "Man, me and my dad was just talking about the best center UC ever had, man. And I was telling him about you, man, and this and that." And, you know, so I hear, you know, people talk and, you know, say what's up all the time.
Oh, that's good. That's what's up. So going into the season 1995, you guys finished 28-5. Now, you averaged your first year 12-8, I believe, right? Your second year 9-8. Okay, not as many points. You're still steady on the rebounding. What was the difference there between season 1 and season 2 offensively for you?
I think more so like I never knew what was my future held, and even though I was considered to be a decent basketball player, I never thought that I had a chance to play professionally. I never knew about overseas, traveling about the world, going to play basketball. When I was in school, I didn't know anything about that. I never thought I had a chance to play in the NBA until it was like one day throughout the mid of my senior season, and because coach was wondering why I wasn't shooting the ball as much and why I wasn't trying to score. And I was just playing basketball, just having fun, winning games. Would I do whatever? But he brought in, I forget his name. At a point in time, he was working with Portland Trailblazers.
Okay.
And he came in and we walked through the gym after practice and walked, and he just wanted to let me know. He said, "All right, I just wanted to let you know that we have been watching you since your junior college, and you had a good first year, and that all you have to do is, in the rest of your season, being productive, and you have a chance to play in the next level."
Wow.
And that's when I think I started to think more about.
It motivated you.
Yeah, it motivated me about as far as scoring and, becoming to try to spread my game out. The season was, about over then, and because we ran a motion, y'all ran the same motion as us, the same motion they run in West Virginia.
Yep.
But I didn't think, a lot of times, because Coach would always tell me when I got right here or got right here, he would get so excited if I attacked from right here or right there. So you always want to please Coach, so you make sure you right.
Right.
I would not think about raising up, shooting a three, or pump faking, or even fake like I'm about to shoot it. I didn't think about that in the game because I didn't think that's what Coach wanted, or But I could play any 1 through 5 coming out of junior college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Junior college, I was actually doing a little bit of that. Even when I got to the next level, I wouldn't play, as far as 2, 1, and 2, but 3, 4, and 5 in the NBA. I played, like in the front of the press. On offense, I played at 3. I'm only 6'9", so that's average size on the next level.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Now, your senior year, the game that I think not only for myself, but a lot of Bearcat fans that everyone remembers, and that was that game against Arizona, when Arizona was number 16 in the country. It was the 7-up shootout, and at the time, you guys were coming out of a timeout, I believe. It's a tie game, and Damon Flint's taking the ball out of bounds, and there's a little duck in for Danny. Damon throws Danny the ball. Danny turns left shoulder to go up, and he gets stripped. Looked like he got fouled. I thought he got fouled. And Danny gets stripped, and with time running out, Miles Simon from Arizona takes one dribble, and from the opposite three-point line, launches it up, makes the three. Arizona wins. Now you were right next to Miles when he was throwing that up.
I got a picture of me and Miles that I was just about to look for in my phone from that game. Right before we got the ball, Coach called timeout, and Coach drew up a play for us to spread out, because they would have to foul us or I think we were winning at that time. I think we were up one, maybe 2 points. I can't remember. But the play was to get the ball in the post to Danny, and for Danny just to hold the ball, not to shoot it. And Danny got the ball and attempted to shoot. It went against his coach. He went against coach's word and lost the ball. We lost the game. When the ball, however it flipped out, somebody knocked it out. When Miles was reaching for it, we both were actually, I think, fighting for the ball.
Yeah.
And he got the ball, and from this free throw, shot it up, and I think it hit on net. I don't even know if it hit the backboard. And we were stung. We had them beat. And boy, that locker room was.
Oh man.
That locker room was like the Cincinnati Zoo. Coach Huggins, Danny Forrest, and Damon Flynn, everybody. We stayed in our locker room for about 2 hours. And I mean, we were so upset because that was a big game for us at that point in time, moving up in the brackets. I think Arizona was ranked 2, top 10, I don't know, but they had Ben Davis, Miles Simon, they had, what's the guy, Reggie Gary. Those 3 guys both went on to the next level.
Yeah.
Ben Davis, Reggie Gary, and Miles Simon. They had a good team that year, and we had them beat. We had a lot of guys beat. All them games we lost, we never got blew out. It was always for simple mistakes. And that's why I watch Coach now, and I say Coach has gotten soft. I look at the type of players he got, but he get guys with great talent, and I just don't see him leaving it on the court for him like I think we did. Like when he was here at UC. It would have been a great thing to get Coach Huggins back here. The way things look now.
Yeah. Now, when let me take it back to that shot. When Miles Simon threw that shot up, and you're standing right here, could you see it, and were you like, oh man, that's good?
Yeah, that's why I looked back there, because when he shot, I watched the ball go. I can see it now, just floating in the air. Like we didn't think that it would go in, and when it hit, it was crazy. Like you was just like, man, we shoot that shot 300 times a day in practice and don't make one.
Right.
And he just picked the ball up and launched it and
to win the game.
To win the game like it was nothing. And then I was just like, man, that's why I said we were crushed. We were as a team, because we wanted to be. It was so much trash talking going on that we was gonna beat them, and we had them.
Yeah. And I think like all season, as the season started to progress, I think really the energy and the hype behind that team, your guys' team that year, was starting to build. And then the NCAA tournament comes about, and you guys make a run. You make it to you're at Rupp Arena, playing Mississippi State.
The game I wish I could get back.
Man, talk about that. What about that game?
Well, we struggle offensively, and we still didn't lose by 4 or 5 points, I think. Not only did we struggle offensively, we played terrible defensively as a team collectively. I mean, that's my first time in that year, I think, playing against a center that size, Eric Dampier. Eric Dampier was like 7'1".
Yeah.
And I just thought he was
tough.
I just thought he was huge. He wasn't tough. He was a big body,
Yeah.
And he made it tough for me. I only had 4 points. I think I hit a couple jump shots and get a layup. I think I got 1 putback that game, not knowing I could out-jump over him instead of trying to think of going through him, and we had a rough night.
So was Dampier a lot different of a player when you actually played against him versus what you thought he would be?
Everybody's always like that.
Yeah.
You always give your opponent, the upper hand until you get out there. That's why everybody has the chills before the game.
Yeah.
If you just knew you were better than him, you would never have the chills.
Right.
So that's why anytime I have a game, I like to look down and see who's nervous and see who's not.
Yep.
In our mind, when we play for Coach Huggins, everybody's nervous because they want to play against none of us.
Yep.
We all contain something that they don't want.
So the Bearcat Basketball Podcast is presented by the Healthcare Management Group. Shout out to everyone at HCMG, and thank you for the support. So, you finished your last game with the Bearcats versus Mississippi State. Tough loss because, you guys could have, made a nice run to the championship.
We would
But
have won
what-
it.
huh?
We would have won the championship.
Yeah. Who would you have played next?
Syracuse.
Syracuse?
And
Who-
Syracuse and Kentucky.
Who was on that Syracuse team?
John Wallace
Wow.
from Rochester, New
Yep.
York.
Oh, yeah. Your guy, huh?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest reasons, I really wanted to play against him because, they had the
You
media.
played against him growing up?
Yeah, I beat John Wallace in the semifinals for my last high school championship,
Oh, wow.
my senior year. Yeah.
Now how big is he?
He's 6'9".
He's 6'9"? So you guys battled.
Yeah, we would have definitely battled in that UC game. They probably, in that game, if we had to play Syracuse, our fans would probably have saw a whole different me because I would have probably played normal basketball because I was playing against a guy that I grew up playing against.
Yeah.
It would have been, I could imagine that. I would have been, we wanted it so bad. Like, we talked a couple times on the phone and, I kept telling everybody about it. That's why I remember the day, like, when we lost that Mississippi State game, I sat on that bench and I didn't even realize, but I was tearing up and everything's getting blurry. I'm sitting there like, man, is this really happening? This is my last game at UC. Like, who wants that?
And I'm glad you said that, Art, because a lot of people that play, when you're in the grind, right? So you're in the season. I mean, it is a grind every day. Getting yelled at, you got to go to the weight room, you got to study. It's cold in Cincinnati. But then, as much as you complain about it, or we complain about it,
Right.
when it's over, it's like, man,
Damn, it's over.
right?
What am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
And it's always been the same way. Like, that's why I always said earlier, like, I never knew what I would do. And that's the feeling that I had when I was sitting on that bench, even though, I had, the opportunities that came about, I never knew that, never thought like that.
Yeah.
I've always been a modest person. I don't look at myself as being, so it was like, man, this is the best basketball. This is the best place to play basketball. I want my kids to come here and play basketball. Like, I love UC, I love Coach Huggins, and now for me it's over. What am I gonna do? So
Right.
It's like,
Well, talk to us a little bit how you ended up in the NBA, because you went undrafted, right? But yet, you made it there. So talk about that process.
well, I was supposed to get drafted. I went to Portsmouth, Virginia. I did pretty good in Portsmouth, Virginia. After that, we got an opportunity going to the Chicago pre-draft, and I actually did pretty good there. And actually, after the Chicago draft, I got the call that I would be getting drafted. And
They didn't tell you what team, but they said you'll get drafted, or
they actually told me. He told my agent was telling me that Houston and Indiana, they both liked me. I did a 48-hour workout with Indiana, and that's another secret that probably about to get revealed that nobody know about me. The whole time I was at UC, I was on parole, and when I went on that 48-hour visit to Indiana, without telling my parole officer, he wouldn't let me go to any more workouts.
really?
That's why I didn't get drafted.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people always thought it was something else, but I went to Indiana without telling my parole officer. As soon as I got back from Indiana, Houston called me and wanted me to come to Houston, and I couldn't go because of him. So the word in the NBA was like, who does he think he is where he can miss workouts? So
Yeah.
I didn't get drafted.
So then what happened? How did you end up in the league?
Well, later on that year, I worked out for a few teams. I worked out with Portland in the summer league, and I could play a little bit. I did pretty good, and Portland signed me. That was actually a year later, because I went overseas, but just a year later, 98, 99. And that was just so happened the lockout year. Remember the lockout they
Yep.
had in 99?
Yep.
I was one of the guys that affected. remember the point guard from Xavier, Mike Hawkins?
Yep. Absolutely.
Me and Mike Hawkins were both playing for the Portland Trailblazers, and me, Mike Hawkins, and Brian Grant were playing for the Portland Trailblazers. Brian Grant, he played at Xavier too.
Yep.
And once the lockout involved, me and Mike actually got waived because of our placement on the roster, and so that was actually my first team I signed with, but I didn't spend the whole season with them. But after that, the following year, 2001, I walked on and made the team with Seattle Supersonics, and that's where I started 40 games, and I got my chance. That was probably my best year out of my 3 years in the NBA when I was with Seattle.
So talk about how different the NBA grind is than college, because when I talk to a lot of guys that I know that are in the league, especially Bearcat players, the NBA grind is completely different. Obviously, 82 regular season games, and then you've got the playoffs if you're fortunate enough to make it, but the grind's so different.
Well, you play in the NBA, you make it to the next level. You're playing with guys and you're playing for coaches that know the game. You got the athletic skills, and they see something that they can show. They see a way that they can show you to involve in the game. And to help you work on your game. It's going to help you work on your game. It becomes easier. Like
right.
When I was at UC, I mean, obviously we had that hard ass floor. Couldn't see was cement under it. But when I was at UC, I never really thought about jumping up and hitting the rim with my elbow. I didn't think that I could. I thought I was too heavy. And as hard as we worked in the weight room, I thought I would have been strong enough. But when I got to the next level, actually before I got to the next level, I was in that workout I just told you about. Went to Indiana. They gave me the ball at the top of the key. No, was it? Yeah, they gave me the ball at the half. They gave me the ball at half court. And said bounce the ball 2 times and dunk it. So it was like right then and there, I'm looking like how I'm supposed to dunk the ball with bouncing it 2 times from here to there. You get your little stride, you bounce it, you get your another, your nice little stride, you bounce it, and you dump up and stride. What he was testing was my athletic ability.
Right. Which I
had. But he was telling me that you only need 2 dribbles to use it.
Yep.
And that's one thing we don't get taught in college. I watched a couple of UC games this year, and the reason I feel that they're struggling is because they need to slow down. They just they run around like a pack of wolves out there.
Yeah.
Like they need to slow down because they don't even realize in college you have more time on the shot clock than you do in the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But even though your game is only 24 minutes long and our game is 48, you don't even get half of the points that we score because you're in a rush. Think about it. Look at the Dukes. Look at the Kansases. They run when they can, but most of the time they just slow down. You got guys here, as soon as they catch the ball, they look and they dribble. In the NBA, they tell you catch the ball, look, and then dribble.
Right.
They catch the ball here and they gone. You can't do that because you're working with the defense now.
Well, I always tell people this, Art, I get in arguments with folks that are not NBA fans, and they always go, NBA players don't play defense. College guys do. And I said, I disagree with that because I go to a lot of NBA games. The Pacers are very close. So I go to a lot of NBA games, and I sit pretty close when I try to go to a game. And it's not a matter of they don't play defense. Offensively, like you talk about it, if a guy just has that one little step on you.
It's hard to defend.
You're done. If Curry has this much space, you're done. LeBron gets that shoulder to your shoulder. So it's not that they're not playing defense. It's just they're at such a superior level, and they're being taught differently, like you said, taking that 2 dribbles, dunking it in. It's just a different level.
Well, that's something that That's something that even coach probably tell his team today. You know, he just used to drill it in our heads. Like, we play defense. We're built on defense, but we're not going to stop anybody. We're just going to contain them. We're going to keep the score like this. We're going to keep the score like this.
Right.
So we know what we're going to have at the end of the day. We know we're not going to let you score. You know, you can't play defense and stop everybody from doing everything. But usually when you're talking to a fan, oh, these guys in the NBA, they ain't playing no defense. It's not that the guy's not playing no defense. The guy's playing good offense.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So, Art, give us your best NBA story.
Best
NBA story. Give me your best NBA story.
What do you mean? On court, off court?
That's true. It could be.
Right.
Give me your. Well, you can either give me your best on-court story or.
I definitely got one for you. You remember Aaron McKee? Played
from
at University
Temple.
of Temple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm quite Allen Iverson.
Played with the Sixers, right? A little bit. Yeah.
That's where I played with him at.
Yep.
In Philly.
Yep.
Me, Aaron McKee, our birthday is actually on the same day, October 1st. So me, Aaron, and Allen Iverson, you know, we're our good buddies, Derek Coleman. We started hang out, you know, joke, you know, mess around. So I think this was Yao Ming's first year in the league when I was with Philly, and that had to be maybe 2003.
Okay.
Something like that. I can't remember, 2003. And we were on the road, getting ready to go play Houston. And coach had just told me that, you know, they were going to keep me and, you know, he was going to sign me or whatever. And so I was kind of excited, you know, and he's told me that I'll be, you know, getting time here and there. You know, he wanted to figure out how he wanted to use me. So, you know, I got word from coach that, you know, I would be playing against Yao Ming. So everybody on the team, you know, there was my friends, and they was joking like, "Ooh, you got to get Yao Ming, you got to beat Yao Ming," and you know, I was a little nervous, but you know, I wouldn't let them know. So I'm like, "Oh, it ain't nothing." I said, when I get that ball on them, I'm gonna cross them over. I'm gonna dunk on them.
Right.
You know, I used to jump like, you know, when Vince Carter put his elbow in the rim, I used to be like, man, that's not good. Like I could do it. Maybe not put my elbow in the rim, but put my elbow on the rim. Like, you know what I mean? So I just thought I could jump up and, you know, dunk them. So coach called my name, and I go in the game, and my first possession against Yao Ming, I had to defend him. And, you know, I got him on a post, and I'm 6'9", but I think Yao Ming was, what, 7'3" or something?
Yeah, he was one of the tallest in the league.
7'6" or something like that. But usually when I defend somebody in the back, I have my arm on their back. But I got Yao Ming and them kind of lightweight down by his butt. So I'm like, damn, he's kind of tall, man. So he spins and make a layup on the other side of the rim. And, you know, we go back down and we spread it out. So just so happened, I'm in front of our bench. And we got the ball and spread it out. And they done swung the ball around. They swing the ball around, and I think I never thought about this, but I don't know how that ball got all the way around to that corner. I was in the corner to me. And I got the ball, and Allen Iverson and Aaron McKee just so happened was on the bench. I was playing with the second squad, and they was like, oh, Big Six, it's your chance. This is it. Shine, baby, shine. You got him. You got him. I hear him, and I got the ball, and I'm rocking Yao Ming. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go. And I beat him. I get to the, I get past him. I say, oh yeah, I got this. So I'm going to the basket, and my drilling. No, I say I'm in the NBA. I got a Yao Ming, a superstar.
Right.
And I am about to get nasty with it. I thought.
You gonna dunk on him?
Yeah. I blew past him because he's so slow.
Yeah.
And my first foot in the paint, I think I take off. And when I look up to take off, it got dark.
He said it got dark?
Yeah. You know, Yao Ming was 7'5", 7'4", so I go up, you know, dunk it with the left hand, and it got dark, and Yao Ming was right there with me. When I blew past him, you know,
Caught
he's
up.
slow dropping his step, but he got a long step, so each step 1 and 2, and he's
Yeah.
right there in his hand. He's got to raise his hand, so I see his hand. I'm like, oh, instead of trying to dunk it, I try to go over him with a little floater, like a lob.
Uh-oh.
And Yao Ming blocked that shot so hard, literally, it went to half court. And that's all Aaron McKinnon was talking about. Man, he started a fast break with your shot, man. He literally started a fast because they called the ball,
Right.
fast break, and
They were
he's
killing you.
Man, I wish I could. And you know what? I got a picture of Yao Ming dunking on me. Like he was going. I had a rough 5 minutes
man.
that night. I got to show you that picture.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
AI and Aaron were hyping you up.
Yeah. Like in the picture, I told you, I get my arm by the rim. I'm literally up there like this. My arm's by the rim.
Yeah.
But Yao Ming is already dunking the ball.
Oh.
Yeah,
You got a
so-
picture of that?
Yeah, I got
You have to show me after. Yeah, when we finish up.
Yeah, that dude was humongous.
Yeah.
You remember Sean Bradley?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we played against him too.
Dallas. Didn't he? He had a bike accident. He's paralyzed, I think, for life, right?
Yeah, that was tragic. But,
Yep. Yeah, Sean Bradley was a big boy.
7'7". Yeah.
Art, and I do want to mention this. So, you know, I definitely want to applaud you for this. Coming from New York, JUCO, Bearcats, the NBA, and where you are today, you've overcome a lot of adversity. And just like many people, you've made mistakes along your journey. But you've got through the mistakes. You've overcome that adversity. What has been key for you, Art Long, the man sitting here today? What has been key for you to get over that adversity and not just go into a dark place and just say, you know, forget life or whatever? You've gotten through all that stuff, and all my dealings with you, Art, have been first class. You've been a great dude. We had a conversation on the phone today, and I applaud you for where you are today. How have you managed to deal with adversity?
Well, I think my best way of dealing with adversity is just, you know, staying humble. You know, I don't like the cold. I don't like to be hungry. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard. Like, you know, I don't ask for much, and I don't expect anybody to do anything for me. And I think a lot of what my decision making is today, it's crazy, but it comes from playing for Coach Huggins, you know, because he makes you think, made us think, you know, because we would always be into so much doing this, doing that. Every day, Coach would have to, you know, speak to someone or, you know how it was. Save someone's ass. But, you know, adversity, what is that? You know, we all have situations, you know, I mean, some people call them problems. It's just a situation that, you know, you gotta fix, you know what I mean? Give it time.
Yep.
So, you know, things may not be as gold as they were yesterday for me as they are now, but that, I'm fine with that, you know. I'm still me. You know, I raise my kids, and not only can I learn from my mistakes, but my kids can learn from my mistakes, and other people who've read about my mistakes can learn, share them with their kids, share them with, you know, someone, whoever.
And I think that's great, Art, because being able to talk to people about what you've been through, talk to them about your journey, I think, you know, that's helpful to a lot of other people that might either be going through things or in the future might end up going through stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing about basketball. Like you get the opportunity to meet a lot of people, and you go through a lot, you know, throughout your travels and, you know, games and stuff. So you definitely learn, you know. Like I tell people, I'm definitely a people's person. You know, I've been to more countries than people have been to cities and states.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I was on my second passport, and it's like you have to be able to, you know, if you go to another country and live you have to live there, like, eat, sleep, drive, and, live there for 8-9 months. Then you have to know how to get along with people. You have to, be a people person. I mean, even if they don't like you, you read that, you get away from them, it's whatever. But me, I just take one step at a time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
It's amazing how the game of basketball takes you around the world, and it puts you in front of people from other countries, different languages, different cultures. And like you said, you've been to places that the majority of people in this room won't have an opportunity in life to travel to as many places that you have. And there have been a lot of basketball players. I think about Sean Kilpatrick and other guys of the past who played overseas in a lot of different countries. So amazing experiences. So I'm going to ask you just a couple questions as we wrap up here. I'm live at Mio's in Clifton with Art Long, and just a couple questions here to finish up. Art, let me ask you this. How would your game in your prime, when you were here at UC, translate to today's college basketball game? Because today's college basketball game is a lot different. A lot different.
Yeah. A lot more up-tempo. I mean, we ran the motion at UC, so that's what most people are running now.
Yeah.
Running our offense. But my personal game here at UC, in today's game, I mean, it would have been fine. I mean, you could always use an enforcer. You always need everybody need a Draymond Green, the ugly Dennis Rodman. They need those.
Yeah, the tough dude.
Yeah, the
that
guy
rebounds the ball.
Someone who controls the paint.
Absolutely.
Set a few picks. Like you said, go in there, rebound, block a shot or two, and that's what UC's been known for. That's Kenyon Martin, Danny. Danny was a scorer. In college and in the NBA, he's a little slow. So, but just putting out tough guys that can go in the paint and do something. That's what UC's been, for producing. Corey Blunt. Like I said, Pete Michael. He was pretty much a scorer, but he was tough. He'd sit down, play some defense, and get in your stuff. So.
Yep.
So it was.
Okay, one more question, and then I'll open it up to any fans. If a fan wants to come up and ask a question to Art Long here. So my last question for you, Art, is, in your time here, wearing the Bearcat uniform, and you think about all your teammates you've had here, if you had to go to battle, any type of battle, and you could take one teammate with you, what teammate are you taking to battle and why?
Danny Fortson.
Danny Fortson. That's good. Good answer.
That's how us big men stick together.
Right. He's a tough dude.
That's my guy. Yeah, Danny Fortson. I mean, anytime anybody saw us walk in the gym together, they was like, they couldn't believe we were that big.
Yeah.
Like I remember we played against North Carolina, and you brought that game up earlier. Rasheed Wallace went up and dunked the ball. I mean, and he came down and screamed on Danny. And I looked at Rasheed, and I looked at Danny, and I saw a look on Danny's face, and I was like, man, he's scared. So I have felt like it was my job to get in Rasheed's stuff and just to get Danny off and get him loose. So that worked, what I mean? And that's how we did it, If somebody was heavy and I couldn't really get Danny to lay on him because, we was that's my boy. And the craziest thing about it, one thing that I bet you nobody knows, it was like he was almost like our mentor, but he was like our big brother.
Yeah.
Out of all people, I haven't heard you mention his name one time. Kurt Bostic.
Oh, Big Kurt.
Yeah.
Karate Kurt.
Karate Kurt. He used to always be on me and Danny, because me and Danny used to always be talking trash to people, and Kurt, guys don't have to do that. He sound like Mike Tyson.
Right.
He's a perfect guy for Mike Tyson, because he sounds just like, you guys don't have to.
He's still around, too.
Is he?
Oh, he might be at the game tonight. We might see him, yeah.
But, Kurt was a cool guy.
Good people. Yeah. Any Bearcat fans have a question for Art Long? Please come up as we wrap it up here. And once again, we want to thank everybody for coming out to Mio's in Clifton and checking out the podcast. Here's what I'd like to do. Bearcat fans, for those getting ready to head to the game, if you guys can give Art Long a round of applause for coming in and being a guest. And we want to thank everybody again for attending another podcast here at Mio's. And thanks for checking out the Bearcat Basketball Podcast. Go Bearcats!